Hey, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. Today we are going to be talking about the final book in the Broken Earth trilogy, The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin. If you've not been following my reviews on this series, I highly recommend you go back to the playlist on this channel. Check out the first two books, the fifth season being the first one in this series. Just fantastic series. I am really enjoying it. And of course, the Obelisk Gate being the second book in the series. Again, if you've not been following along with this series, go back, watch the other reviews, read the series, because the series is just awesome. I am absolutely loving it. So this is a world in which the powers and magics of the earth are used, or are part, a key component of the world. And the main content of this world is referred to as the stillness. And there's a group of people called the Origins who have the ability to control the elemental forces of nature in the world, primarily the tectonic forces of the continents within the earth. And so they're able to control the earthquakes. They can generate or control earthquakes, causing volcanic eruptions and what's referred to as seasons. So this is the time of natural disaster, and the aftermath of which takes years and years and years for the world to recover from these disasters. And it's just overall just really, really good book. Really enjoying the whole series as a whole. So again, if you have not checked out the previous videos, definitely go and check it out. So this book kind of picks up where we left off with the Obelisk Gate. So the obelisks, they are these devices that were created by previous, what's referred to as dead civs, or dead civilizations. So the Stone Sky picks up where the Obelisk Gate leaves off. We've got the community of Castrima, which is now gone. The survivors of this battle of Castrima are on their way, headed to a new place, trying to find a new home. And we've got our main character, Nason, who is slowly turning to stone and becoming a stone eater. What's really interesting about this is I really liked how we kind of went back to the creation of the obelisks and the civilization that created these obelisks, and how they were designed and their initial purpose. We learn more about the origins of the Origins and more about the origins of the Stone Eaters. What happened to cause the Earth to lose its moon initially. So really kind of like that aspect of it, and really kind of liked how it kind of played into this idea that the Origins and Stone Eaters were actually the result of this dead civilization's genetic engineering, and they tried to create them to be tools to be controlled, but the civilizations who learned that they could not control them, and they took all the power for themselves in order to earn or fight their way to freedom. So it's really, really interesting, that whole concept about this enslaved race of people, essentially, who fought their way to freedom, and the resulting consequences of how that happened, and the Earth losing its moon. Now, the concept within this story as well, of the idea that the Earth is alive, and that these natural disasters and severe weather events and all that is the result of mankind, humanity, effectively going to war with the earth and not respecting the earth, and the earth is fighting back. And if we're to bring back stability to the world, while it doesn't guarantee freedom from natural disasters at all, we have to go back and respect the earth and stop exploiting her resources. So that kind of concept of the environmentalist ideology is definitely evident throughout this story, and definitely of some big importance, I think, and kind of the main concept behind what is going on within this story. Now, I absolutely love the writing style is great. You really draws you into the story, and just overall, just really, really well written. Believable characters that are struggling. They're not perfect. They're constantly making mistakes. Both Nason and Eason, which is mother and daughter, they have their final conflict at the end. And that conflict, and the final battle, I guess you could say, of wills, of desires, both want to accomplish their own objectives, and both come into that final meeting and final conflict. as to how they accomplish those goals and objectives with the obelisk gates and how they restore Earth back to its natural balance. So I really kind of liked that whole way that this played out in terms of having to respect the Earth. A really interesting concept for a story and the way it was written. Just overall, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really good, enjoyable read. Now, one thing that I kind of found interesting is that as they use more of their magic and as they use more of their powers, it crosses the line from originy to actually using magic. This slowly starts turning the user to what's referred to as turning to stone. But we'll get some hints as to maybe this stone that they're turning into isn't quite stone necessarily. And just kind of interesting to see where that comes from. I don't want to get into too much detail because I don't want to spoil it for anyone necessarily, but I really, really overall enjoyed this book, and I think the whole series as a whole is just a great read, and I would absolutely recommend go check it out. Read if you have not read N.K. Jemisin's Broken Earth trilogy. Highly recommend it. It's a great read. I really enjoyed it, and I think that you should check it out. So those are just some of my thoughts on the Stone Sky, the final book in the Broken Earth trilogy. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having yourself a great day, and until next time, keep reading. We'll see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews.